Okay then guys, if you want to grab our Male Advantage supplement, the link is below. It is free shipping worldwide. If you subscribe monthly, you get 20% off. It brings it down to the lowest price we've ever had. That link is below. If you want to check out some of the projects on our streaming platform, documentaries and series, the link is also below. If you want to read the Male Advantage ebook or listen to the audiobook, again, the link is below. If you want to grab our course, guys, which has all of the content that I'm showing on the screen now on, plus more, plus all the old videos from YouTube, all of the best ones anyway, stuff about life setup, framing, I really go into detail about Dan Bilzerian, Leonardo DiCaprio, what they do to set their life up in a certain way, to attract women, to frame themselves as a high-level man. It's all there. And finally, guys, as you all know, we have bought a house in Granada, Spain, which will be the first house for 1M House, which is a members club where you guys can pay £2,999 and stay all around the world, all the best houses in all the most cultured and beautiful locations, eventually cities that we're going to move into. The first house has got a pool, it's going to have a gym, sauna, spa room, we're going to have work facilities, a coffee room, obviously bedrooms for everybody to stay in. It's right next to a ski lodge, it's right next to a beach, it's right next to a major city with a huge population. Guys, it's going to be unbelievable. We're all going to be there. We're all going to be sat round a fire table, chatting about men's lifestyle, chatting about self-improvement. It's taking YouTube a few gears up, a few levels up, where you can finally meet people in person, build your own network, to make this interactive instead of just sitting behind a screen trying to learn that way. I think that's old school. I think the future is going to be in person. I think people want actionable. I think people are fed up with this virtual world. I think this is the future of men's lifestyle, men's self-improvement. And if that sounds of interest, guys, the link is below. You can apply now. If not, just take a look at the website, take a look at all the features. You might become a member in the future. We'd be happy to have you. So now to the video that you came here to watch. Okay then, guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about probably the only negative of success. Now, I would obviously encourage heavily to become successful. I think it gives you a better life, and I think you can have everything off the back of success. So, you know, if you've ignored women, for example, if you've ignored relationships, if you haven't had kids and you're like 42 years old, if you're, you know, a wealthy guy with a really great lifestyle who's kept himself in shape, like, it's not hard to go and then tick those boxes. I'm pretty sure you can find somebody, have some kids, settle, then do the family thing afterwards, right? I've never seen it as being an issue. But if there is one negative to success, it's the fact that average is life. And I'll explain what I mean by that. If the average person is living the average life, you're never associated with that. So, you know, you could be, let's say you're a billionaire and you're on a jet on your own. You're flying around the world on a jet on your own, you know, just going from one location to the next location for a business meeting. There's some guy that makes 30,000 per year who's having a barbecue in his back garden with like 40 friends, his wife, 2 kids, having the time of his life with a massive smile on his face. And that's not me, you know, coming at a different angle of like, do you know what, guys, find peace and all this shit. I'm not doing that. I hate it when people get, you know, usually people make a lot of money and then they go, money's not important. It's like, yeah, not now because you're rich, you dick. And I'm not coming from that point of view. I'm just saying the thing that makes humans most happy is other humans. Also makes you sad, but like we're tribal, we're very tribalistic, and just having people around you, you know, having your tribe, having a group of people around you is essential because, you know, if you spend a lot of time on your own, which is a lot of where male depression comes from, is like financial pressures, time on your own. It sounds very entrepreneurial. Do you know what I mean? You're on your own, you're working, you're going to get down, you're going to get depressed, you're going to have mental health issues. It's because you're away from groups of people, you know, and that's how we've evolved. And you look at the people that are happiest. For example, like, I don't know why this is never discussed in studies as well, when they're like, oh, female depression is much lower than male depression. Why? It's because men don't talk about it. Women have way more friends. They got way more friends. They got way more shit going on. Do you know what I mean? Like every day of the week, there's somebody to go for a coffee with, and anybody argues that with me, you're wrong. Because every girl I've ever dated, they're like, oh, I can't do Tuesday because I'm seeing so-and-so. I can't do Wednesday because I'm having coffee with my 2 friends there. I can do Thursday. I can't do Friday because me and so-and-so are going for a meal together. And then I've got spa in the morning. I'm getting my nails done with my friends. But I can be available Saturday night. Like, they're fully booked. They're always seeing someone else. And also, they'll be like, oh, my friend's, I don't know, Rosie. And you're like, oh, your friend that I met? No, the other Rosie. Like, that's how many friends they've got. Like if you said to me right now, oh, my friend Matt, I'd probably only know one. I'm like, oh yeah, Matt, that's Matt. I know Matt. Do you know what I mean? But for women, it's like, oh no, there's Becky, and then there's Becky B, and then there's Becky with the big boobs, and then there's Becky with, the ginger Becky. Like there's so many friends that they have. And I think that's why they're a lot happier, because they're always socializing, they're always talking, they're always, in groups. They've always got somebody to turn to and whatnot. And I think if there is one negative for men of success, chasing down success, etc., it's the fact that average life will go on without you. Now, you don't want to be average. I don't want to be average. I'm not encouraging you to be average. But just be aware when you're on your journey of how lonely it's going to get, because average is where life is lived. That's the average person. That is everything that goes on in this world, like TV, newspapers, sports, events. So like, oh, it's a really nice warm day in summer. It's going to be barbecues in people's gardens. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of stuff is what's going to be happening. If you're not average, if you're not a normal guy, you probably would have alienated yourself from those groups, because as you're climbing the ranks of success, you're becoming more successful, you're spending less and less time with those people that want an average life. And average has a real bad connotation with it. I'm not saying average now. I'm not saying, oh, these people are average, it makes them worse. Like, enjoy your life. Like, those people are just as happy as, a billionaire that wanted to become a billionaire. Everybody's to their own. Everybody has their own level of happiness. So definitely don't look down on it and be like, oh, I don't want to be an average person and whatnot. But, you're going to distance yourself from them. When you're working hard all the time, you're not going to see them as often. You're going to have different habits. You're going to have a different lifestyle. You're not going to want to eat at the same places. You could go out with all your friends and they're like, let's get a burger. And you're like, wow, I kind of trying to stay lean at the moment. I'm hitting the gym at 5 a.m. And they'll be like, oh, boring. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all fun and games 2 or 3 times, 4 times, but over a year or 2 years of whatnot of speaking like that, people are going to be like, oh, fuck that guy, he'll never come. We're going to a burger place, there's no point inviting him. Like, do you see what I mean? That sort of stuff's going to happen. Or my friends used to say, oh, we're going out for drinks, do you want to come? No, I'm working, I'm on this entrepreneurial thing now, I've been getting up at 5 a.m. They're like, oh, well done, mate. But over time they're like, oh, boring. Like, he won't bother. Like, there's no point even asking him, he won't bother come out. So they stop asking. So what's going to happen is you're not going to be part of the gang. You're not going to be part of the lifestyle. You're not going to be part of average. Which, like I said, average isn't bad. It's just this is life. What does everyone do on a Saturday? They go out, they have a few beers, they watch sports, they order a takeaway, they sit in front of the TV, and then they might go out clubbing. Or they'll go to bed or whatever. But, if you're a guy with a really good 9-to-5 job even, like a high level 9-to-5 job, and you're trying to achieve some high level success, you might be going to bed early. You might be working on weekends. You might be really grinding to make something happen. That is where success will place you. Is like the world is average. Like human life is average. You really need to fight against it to rise above it. It's really difficult because just the world is average. You look at your parents when you were young and you were just like, dad's a superhero. Do you know what I mean? You go through a stuff, but they're just average people that just live in the world. And the age I'm at now, I told you guys about the great male filter. Now that I'm 31, I'm on the other side of the great male filter and I'm seeing everything come together. Pretty much everyone you knew that you grew up with is now becoming the average people that you were younger than. So, when you were a kid and you'd look at somebody's parents and you'd be like, oh, they're just kind of placeholder people. They're almost NPCs. You're like, they just kind of just exist in the world, like people's parents, the bus driver, school teachers. You're like, oh, they're just normal people. They just, they're meh. Do you know what I mean? Those sort of expressions. And NPCs is perfect. Post the great male filter, that's what a lot of people become. They just become the NPCs that their parents were. Oh, their dad was just some fat old bald guy. They become a fat old bald guy and they lose passion for life. And it's very easy because I've had to battle it myself, guys. Like, you get into your 30s and you're very much like, do I just find a woman, settle down, have a couple kids, tick the box of life? Like, is my energy as high as it used to be? And you have to fight against it. And once you've fought against it and you stay on top, you're like, okay, we go again. Like, it's not an issue now. But in the first few years, you're like, I've made some good money. Could I just sit on that? Could I just enjoy it for a bit now? It's very hard to stay ambitious because, like I said, the world is average. You want to be a part of it. Your brain longs for connections, the tribe, being around family, being around friends, and that's great. Like, that is great. Like, that's fantastic. But I'm just saying, Be aware of that when you're chasing your success. Be aware of that when you're coming up 30 years old. You hit the great male filter. Because if you don't stay on top of it, like I said, it's horrible because everyone's out enjoying themselves, doing cool shit on the weekends and whatever. And yeah, you can partake in it somewhat. You know, your lifestyle's different. You have more expensive stuff that you're doing. You've maybe got a business that takes you abroad or something like that. But you have to just remember like how appealing all of that stuff is because everybody's doing it. That's the hard part to fight. That's the stick or twist moment. It is appealing. Like, sit down with us, have a coffee, have a croissant. Do you know what I mean? Just have a chat for 6 hours. We'll all just sit here. We'll watch the day go by. What's the rush? It's quite easy to fall into. It's quite nice. You know, you put one pretty girl in that group. It's very easy to sit there for the whole day and just be like, it is what it is. We'll just let the world fly by. But what will happen, and you'll notice it, post Great Male Filter, which is 25 to 30 for you guys who don't know, which is when, like, when you're young, everyone's pretty much the same. From 25 to 29, 30-ish, you start to see the separation. You start to go, oh, he was working hard. I can see why he's in the position he's in. He's done 6 years of hard work in the gym. That's why he's where he's at. He's done 10 years on his business. I can see why that's like changed the game. He's been reinvesting his money for 5 years. It's now paying off. It makes sense. I can see it. It's kind of that age where everyone starts to separate and you see who's been working hard, who's been working on what, and who's just been, you know, kind of going out, getting drunk and whatnot. And post 30, like I said, you start to see the NPC era. I'm seeing it now and it hurts. It really hurts because, like I said, the people that we thought were average when we were growing up, like, oh, you're going to be a bus driver, you're going to be a whatever, like you take the piss out of people. That's what everybody's becoming now in the bracket that I'm in. It's just like they're a little bit fatter. They've lost passion for life. They start to look like their parents. They stop caring about what they're wearing, which, you know, just becomes baggy t-shirt and shorts and whatnot. Says the man sat here in a tank top, but it's boiling. And, you know, the effort goes, and they do become the NPC. They do become the, you know, the kind of life placeholders, and it's average. But this isn't a massive negative because, like I said, average feels good. It does feel good for a lot of people. That's where life is lived. You know, it's you, your wife, your kids. They all love you. It's your family members. It's, you know, your friends and whatnot. And everyone's grouped in together. And it's like it's all of us earning roughly the same money, living roughly the same lives, all just hanging out, having a few beers and a barbecue in the summer. And in the winter, we all come around each other's houses for Christmas and we all have a few beers and we watch TV. Like, it's very just normal NPC, day by day. Life passes you by. And on your tombstone, I mean, you could write, lived an average life, was a normal bloke. Like, will be missed for about 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Will be missed for 20 years, won't be remembered. But at the same time, like, your other option is to work your absolute socks off and give up that and miss out on that for like a good 15, 20 years in the early days of your life when everyone else is doing that and having fun. That's what you miss out on. And I'd say because humans are very tribalistic, like that's probably the only negative of success. And if success prolongs where you're like, oh, I can't quite accomplish it. It's taken me 5 years, now 10, now 15, like it becomes a problem. Mentally, it becomes a problem. You're like, I'm missing out on all this enjoyment. But once you get there, it's like, oh, finally, I can have everything now. I can have everything I ever wanted off the top shelf. I just want you guys to be aware of that. I just want you guys to be aware on your journey. You know, as I fade away from YouTube or do different types of content on YouTube with more vlogs and whatever, where it's more showing the male advantage years, which I think should be the natural progression of this channel, where I've talked about it for all these years. Now I've accomplished it. I'm going to show you me living it. Like, surely that's the natural progression of this channel. I know a few people have had an issue with it, but I just think that makes perfect sense. You know, that's the phase that I want to move into now. And I think it's important that you guys have this video at your feet so you know, moving forward, if you're trying to accomplish something big, that's going to be there. The temptation of average is always going to be there. The temptation to sit, play video games, watch TV, call some friends, go out for some beers, whatnot. Like, it's all just normal stuff, average stuff that happens every single day. Skip the gym, watch the sports event, talk about it tomorrow around the water cooler with everybody, fit in. Everyone wants to fit in. The nail that sticks out gets hammered. Like, it's an addictive feeling. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's quite nice. Do you know what I mean? You wake up on a Sunday, you haven't got anything to get up for, there's no pressure, no stress. You go and walk the dog with your, you know, pretty good girlfriend. Like, nothing crazy, but like, oh, she's pretty and she loves me. You're talking about getting married, having kids. Like, you feel loved. You're surrounded by people that want to see you, that want to spend time with you. It's really nice. But that is average. That is an average life. And you just kind of have to make a decision. Can you put up with that pain for like 5, 10, 15 years? Or, you know, do you want it immediately? Because the main goal of life, now that I'm getting older, is 100% happiness. If something doesn't make me happy, if I don't really want to do it, I'm like, why am I doing it then? Let's change it. You know, it's very much with what I'm doing with YouTube now, transition into 1M House. I'm like, I'm not happy doing this anymore. I'm not motivated, so I'm going to change it and do something else. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you'll have phases in your life. You're going to have different 10-year blocks, 5-year blocks, 1-year blocks. You're going to be with different people. You're going to live in different areas. It's just, that's life. But you guys have to be, you know, you have to be prepared mentally. Are you going to be able to leave average behind? Are you going to be able to watch the whole world existing? Because that's what average is, the whole world just existing and getting on with it. You know, living life, laughing, joking, enjoying themselves. Pretty much universal basic income style lifestyle. You know, the Friday feeling, which you won't get because you can't stop. Do you know what I mean? You need to keep pushing. Can you put up with that? And that for me is probably the only negative of success. It's just one big ball of like 5, 10, 15 years of pushing and just missing out on all of that and watching it all go by and watching everybody, you know, get to checkpoints in life, get to landmarks in life, like marriage, kids, you know, events, nights out, just all enjoying themselves, always smiling, always joking, no stresses, no worries, watching all the sports events, barbecues around someone's house. Like, so, but it's your choice. Which one do you want? You have to make the decision. And I want to leave you guys with that as food for thought. Now, if you don't want to be average, 1M House is available. So the link is below. It's our members club, as you guys know. We're looking at, obviously, we've got the first house in Granada, in Spain. Search Granada, check it out, see what you think. The first house is it's unbelievable. All the vlogs are going to probably start next week, guys. So it's going to be really fun. All the facilities we got out there, you know, the first kind of idea of its kind, this style of members club. I'm looking at properties in south of France right now, and I'm looking at houses in central Italy, let's say, as the next possible locations. We want to have 3 houses within the next 2 years as a guarantee. So, you know, we're pushing for that, guys, and this business is going to expand like crazy. I'm going to vlog the whole journey. You guys are going to love it. But if you want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, other successful guys, the link is below. You can apply now. And, you know, if we accept you, if we think you're the perfect fit for the house, obviously we'll get back to you and we'll sort something out. So, appreciate you being here today, guys. I'll speak to you all soon.